All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Berserk, episode 5. Ooh.
We have gone through the backstory bit. We've gotten to the time skip.
Yes. And now we know a little bit why Guts has some trust issues.
Yes.
He has a little bit of a kind of a burden he carries with him because of his past and that he murdered his mentor / father figure.
Right.
Yep. But it didn't look like it was the healthiest of relationships for the end of it, at least. And,
really?
Yeah. But see, that stuff was pretty crazy. I'm still like wigged out by the fact that Griffith carries around the doohickey of doom around his neck, and it's like literally in the openings, like, in this world, does fate govern the hearts of men, and blah blah blah. Showing the thing that's grasped by the creepy, just decrepit hand and stuff. So
see, that's more impressionistic.
Yeah. Well, you see, this show is kind of telling the story in reverse a little bit, so
that's true.
It's supposed to build up the tension, I think.
Yes.
By being done this way.
Yeah.
So I'm ready for us to get to more into these character interactions and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm liking the Band of the Hawk setup as
they're pretty great, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean they're
we're just getting introduced to them.
Yeah, they're pretty cookie cutter right now, but I'm sure they'll get.
They're handling them well so far.
Right, exactly. All right, guys, we're excited. So without further ado, let's get into this. Is that the leader already dead?
No, not yet.
Oh.
Jeez. Yeah, it's like you almost feel bad for them.
Well, yeah, but Guts' strength is a bit ridiculous. Whoa, yeah.
Griffith's not bad either.
All right, and the battle's over. Now, are the Band of the Hawk the type of people that give chase? Or are they like, we go for high KD ratio, where we don't really care about like the number of the people that die. We just make sure that none of us die.
Right, exactly.
So that we seem more invincible.
Yeah.
Just a thumbs up.
Yep.
Griffith, you awkward white knighted bastard. Like, Captain Guts. Okay. Mm-hmm. Right, he got promoted to Raider Commander.
Got carried away and just killed all the enemies myself.
A rival? Who's this? Hello, Casca. Big sister Casca. The Commander Casca! Yeah. Can I have your ear for a minute?
Sure.
Yep. His face. Yeah. Completely immovable.
Right.
Just repeat the same
Dang it,
thing.
she's onto me.
Oh, bringing this up. Typical man, just swinging his sword around.
This way and that.
Yeah. I have a higher charisma score than you. Let me handle this.
Exactly.
I like Casca, though.
Yep, she's awesome. Yeah,
I can sense that, the jealousy. Yep. Well done, Casca. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Didn't see you there. Yeah.
He's like, okay.
He didn't really scold him or give him any advice.
Nope.
Yeah. Hey, there it is. So in a way, Griffith's kind of letting him stay the same, but he is just accounting for it.
Right.
Interesting.
Oh, Griffith's getting knighted.
Griffith is getting knighted. I called it. Called it. Whoa. And his eyes are serious.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Things got a little bit more serious.
Good.
Just tougher than my mom. Hey, we're at a ceremony. Wait, who? Oh, Guts. Jeez, what is that attached to his sword? Extra weight? What the heck? Oh my gosh. Oh, Pippin.
Yep. I love the music in this show.
Okay. So Judo's kind of their scout. Yeah.
敵補給基地をいち早く占拠することだ。武器庫の元へは素早くたどり着けるが、同時に敵の守備隊も蔵の周りに呼び寄せることになる。
Two groups then are
それでは
necessary?
武器庫全体の占拠にかえって時間がかかる。それから相手は武器弾薬庫だ。砦の中門を突破した後は慎重に行動してくれ。ガッツとキャスカの隊で敵の守備隊を左右へ引きつける。
Lure them
その
out.
後本隊が乗り込み中央突破だ。
Cool. Sounds
準
good.
備が整い次第。
Has the Band of the Hawk's numbers increased? It seems like it has.
I believe so.
It's Casca, right? Yep.
Yep.
And his orders are absolute. Right, Casca?
Right. Notice how he just...
Yeah. Very smooth, Griffith. Very smooth. This is what they're up against.
Yep.
That's an armory.
Yep.
Yeah. This guy's look. Oh my god. The chin of champions.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't he sound like Iskandar?
Maybe a little bit, but I don't think it's the same guy.
And right through the heart. Yep. Wow. Smooth. Are they gonna do any kind of scaling? Oh, too late. Oh, oh! All right, here we go.
Yep.
Jeez. Yes, the Band of the Hawk.
Battle time.
Jeez. The commander is running already. Oh my gosh.
He's like, and that is OP.
I mean, it is terrifying to see a
Yep.
a person wielding a sword like that with one hand, you know.
Oh, yeah. Like, other people might need to, like, go for the points in between the armor. But it's like, nah, doesn't matter.
Oh, shoot. Oh, crap. But what about Casca's group? Jeez. I mean, yikes. Oh, no way. Oh, no way. That's what that's from? Oh, my gosh. So I just got multiple references within that. Oh, my gosh. Wow. Alright.
Yeah, she got everyone to take cover.
Good. Alright, so pretty successful then as far as things go. They just don't get to acquire anything from the supply outpost. Yeah.
お前は必死にグリフィスを守ろうとした。すまなかった。
Don't spoil this, Guts.
Yeah.
Yes, totally defeated them.
で奴らの最後は確認。
Well,
もちろんです。
General Bolskone? That is such a derpy name, I love it. Don't tell me he's not human. That would be crazy. Okay, no, he's human. Okay.
もはやこのお礼を返上するのぞ。
Right.
はい。
These guys are just called the Empire, correct? They dealt with them a little bit in the,
believe so.
うるさいハエは叩き落とさねばなりません。あの鷹の段などという小賢しいで。鷹の段？どうかなさいましたか？
Oh, wow. Now the Band of the Hawk's getting a big responsibility.
Yep.
Boorish troops. That's such a great word.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Perfect. It's such an empirical word, you know. This is what the other nobles were worried about. If Griffith and the Band of the Hawk find favor with the king, it could ruin their positions of power. Oh. Political machinations are afoot. Alright, a stone castle. This is what Sun Tzu said not to attack.
Right.
We do not attack them.
We starve. We don't do.
Yes, we don't attack castles. We starve castles. We besiege castles. We do not attack castles. It's a very different thing. But okay, Griffith, let's get creative. What? Why are you, Is he trying to keep that hidden from other people?
No, it's like a charm.
Yeah, I can tell it's like a charm to him, but... Okay, so the Band of the Hawk is extremely successful in all their missions.
Making their way in the world.
Griffith has become a knight, which is exactly what I predicted he would need in order to become, basically, king.
Well, to have any chance. Yeah.
Any chance at all. And if you think about Griffith as the kind of person who uses his charisma to further his ambitions, primarily, he would need to essentially get, in a weird turn of phrase, get in bed with the nobles. It feels very William Wallace in a way.
Sure, yeah.
But Griffith's not fighting for freedom from an oppressive regime. He's essentially fighting for his idealistic future / vision.
His sort of ambiguous dream.
Right. Yeah. And his dream in and of itself is a little selfish here and there. Like, you know, you can tell that he wants power for himself, but he seems to want that power to serve and to make the world a better place, essentially. Right. But one of the things that he is someone that, you know, does things is he does whatever it takes. He has said that basically he will have what he wants. He's almost feels like he's in a low-key turn of phrase. He's burdened with glorious purpose. Yep, and we've seen where the twisted twisted idealism can take someone, and I think that this is going to be kind of a, you know, absolute power corrupts absolutely kind of thing with Griffith, where we know he's going to be antagonistic to Guts at some point, and Guts is probably going to do some things that will earn him a little bit of the reason why Griffith doesn't like him. But also, if the Band of the Hawk is, you know, moving up in the world in this way, it's only a matter of time before the commanders and the captains will essentially get knighted as well. Like, let's say Griffith wins the battle at this castle, right? Now, kind of in the way that medieval things would work and stuff, is you would have nobles with their vassal, you know, essentially. And in order for Griffith to supply this army, as it were, he would either need to have some kind of payment, you know, consistently given to him, as
land or something
stuff
like that.
Right, but since he's a knight now, what they're probably going to do is give him this castle. He takes this castle, and this is basically all right, now I don't have to give up any of my other nobles' land and make them into enemies. So the king is maybe being a little bit strategic here by saying, I'm going to let the Band of the Hawk lead this offensive.
Sure.
In particular, if they fail, cool, I don't have to deal with the potential problem of mercenaries being elevated to knighthood.
Right.
If they win, excellent. Griffith, as your reward, the Band of the Hawk, you guys get this castle and its surrounding vassals, its serfs and all that stuff will, regard to you. And it kind of sucks for the lower class people, but that's unfortunately what medieval times were like.
It probably wouldn't change much.
No,
for
it
the
probably
lower class
wouldn't.
People.
No, but I think that Griffith and his ideals might have some small little changes that are positive for the serfs, essentially.
Possibly. He does definitely
because he
attract like a crowd and make people reach for something beyond themselves.
Yeah, and in particular the things of him being that kind of a leader, where he's a leader who leads by example. He kind of gets into the trenches with you. I think that's where he's at his best, is that when he's leading amongst his brothers and sisters, and they're doing their things
as equals and all that. Yeah.
But he could go very easily from this side of things to like full on like cult leader, with no problem.
Okay, I think you might be taking the first episode and the fact that Griffith is apparently king and Guts and him are on bad footing.
Oh, no. I agree.
Extreme.
I agree that I am. I just think that there's signs that are pointing to Griffith being the type of person who might lose sight of his dream. Like, he has this dream, but it's a bit nebulous, and he might get to be king, but they've already built it up in this show that even kings don't necessarily, they're kind of a slave to the role of being a king.
Right.
And Griffith seems like he kind of wants to have his cake and eat it with having the free will to go after his fate. Mm-hmm. While he also believes that he needs to discover his fate. And I think that will be his character development. Like, I think Griffith's going to be an amazingly interesting character. I think the part is where I'm curious is Guts seems to be the main character. Mm-hmm. So he's at the very least going to have the audience rooting for him, in some way. Mm-hmm. But I could see them going through it where Guts is kind of a dark knight, so to speak. He's not a lawful protagonist. He fits more into the neutral, maybe chaotic neutral. Not really chaotic neutral, but maybe like neutral kind of
somewhere around things. There. Yeah, and one of the things that I really like about what they do with Guts as a character, and not like do in the future, but like just with what they've set up, is the idea that he'll do a lot of things that help like move the plot and stuff because he's instrumental in the Band of the Hawk.
Yeah,
but he doesn't lead the Band of the Hawk.
He does not. No.
And that's one of those areas where you can get around the idea of the protagonist needing to be the one that basically shapes what happens in the story.
Yeah.
While at the same time not making them completely like not proactive and stuff, because he still does things like noticing that everything's going to blow up and being like, hey, we need to get out of here.
Right.
Things like that.
In particular, he also has the not like the bloodlust, but a little bit of a drive to just use every ounce of strength he has to just crush whatever is in front of him.
Sure.
And it makes him a little bit of a blunt instrument, and Casca, of course, doesn't like that because she's a little bit more tactical than he is.
Yeah.
Given that she seems to be like wholly devoted to Griffith, she has kind of taken upon herself a lot of the aspects of Griffith and molded them with her own kind of terse personality. Like, her personality in particular seems like one who is fiercely loyal, but also a little bit short-sighted with regards to how she interacts with people. So maybe, if anything, she's kind of riding a little bit on the coattails of Griffith's acceptance of her, and that's something that many of the Band of the Hawk are grateful for, which means like why they follow him so devoutly.
Yeah, because he can work with he can take into account all their weaknesses and their shortcomings or whatever, and still make it work, like he did with Guts. That I love that bit where Casca is like, okay, I'm sorry, you did good back there, and Griffith doesn't say anything. He just smiles at her. And that's it.
Like Griffith is smooth, and it's one of those things where I kind of want Griffith and Guts' conflict to not be so like black and white, no pun intended, because, you know, they
Right.
literally made them
The black
and
swordsman
white.
and the white hawk.
Yeah, it's like they're diametrically opposed by their designs, people.
Yeah.
It's obvious that these two are going to come to a head at some point.
Right.
But what they can do is make the conflict not be so simple. Make it be more about the relationship that, you know, is maybe built up along this brotherhood, you know, this camaraderie, you know, this synergy, these two sides of the same coin kind of thing, but have little things here and there that slowly maybe drive a wedge in between them at some point. And I really do see Casca, unfortunately, being the wedge. Like, if you think about the way this show is set up, structurally, there is no character right now that is the fourth, you know, the natural fourth into the story.
Sure, but a lot of the times, like groups of main characters in stories will be like 3 or 5 or something like that.
Sure, so you could say the Band of the Hawk is the wedge. Like, you could say that Casca represents essentially the greatest that the Band of the Hawk has to offer. Like, in that Guts is not truly a Band of the Hawk member, you know, in terms of the story's functionality, because he started out not in the Band of the Hawk.
Okay.
Even in the story, it looks like in the future he's not in the Band of the Hawk. So we know that, you know, in some ways, the Band of the Hawk thing is this thing that will move with Griffith primarily. Like, they're devoted to Griffith, and maybe Guts will fail, you know, the Band of the Hawk in some way. Or maybe he'll fail Casca, and by extension, then the Band of the Hawk. I like how they brought up that fact that, you know, even though it's been 3 years, Guts hasn't really changed that much. And Griffith's okay with that. And I think that's kind of telling in a cool way to show that Griffith, one, has a lot of patience.
Yes.
But two, Guts is the kind of character who's going to go through some very slow character development. Like, it might take all 25 episodes for him to fully become, like...
Come into his own.
Come into his own and basically maybe be the Black Swordsman, you know? Like, it might take, like, a lot of just slowly just kind of working to just kind of smooth the edges of this, like, edgelord, you know? Like,
he does have some rough spots.
He's kind of a blunt instrument. And it's fun having a protagonist that's not, you know,
where they're self-aware about the fact that, like,
that
he has some weaknesses that he needs to work on.
Right, but they're like pretty big weaknesses. Like, there are a lot of capable characters in this story in their specific ways. And Guts is basically good at one thing, just smash. Like, Guts, me smash, me kill everyone with, like, one hand swinging this big, massive sword. Yep. And I love that somehow I find him as compelling as Griffith.
Even though, like, when you would think about it, a character like that's just the kill everything, you know, I do damage, you know.
But it's really because of that first episode.
Yeah,
it really is because of that first episode.
Really is a good one.
Because, like, you know the context of the first episode, obviously, because you've watched this show. But, like, someone coming into this for the first time, they go, okay, we got MC, big guy, smash him up, action show. Wait a minute. No.
There's more to it.
There's a lot more to it than this. Yeah. And there's this, you know, doomed to fail brotherhood thing that's starting to be
and
brought up.
And we do love those stories.
I love those stories, yeah. But we get the vibe that maybe our protagonist isn't so good of a protagonist. Like, maybe...
Flawed characters.
Yeah, maybe it's a little bit on both of their sides, essentially. Like, Griffith, I'm still not okay, even though it was, like, just him grasping it for, like, maybe good luck. For whatever.
It gave you, like, One Ring vibes, or
there's so many vibes, dude. What is it called again? The red thing.
Behelit.
Thank you. Yeah. The Behelit. The minute they brought it up into this story, I'm like, no, this is the kind of stuff where they're like, did you remember the little red doohickey thing?
Watch, it's a literal red herring, and it means nothing.
Yeah, like, I know that's BS. Like, that's total BS. But the great thing that they did was have that thing, the Behelit, be just this little thing. And I think it's there to show that, Griffith's design is white, okay? And by all extents, he's, a mercenary commander.
Right.
Turned knight now. But that maybe is more of what he projects himself towards. Like, he's saying, my goal is to become the knight, so I will already dress the part. Like, I will put upon myself that which I deem who I as who I am.
Yeah, yeah.
But he holds on to this darker part of himself, this thing that kind of represents the I will do whatever it takes to achieve my goal.
Gotcha.
And he might be a white knight. He might be the knight in shining armor who will save the land, who will destroy, I don't know if the empire they're fighting is supposed to be evil, but maybe, like, literally the evil empire will be destroyed by Griffith or what have you. But the way things were in the beginning of the show, Griffith doesn't seem to be a great king. Like, things they had
at least there's some real socioeconomic problems in the
it's medieval times, so those are going to be a problem no matter what. But they chose to make the thematic kind of setting and presentation of that land to be dark and brooding and just kind of foreboding.
What went so wrong?
Something went wrong, right? And the people as well, they seem to be like living in fear.
Right.
There's monsters and such, which is something we haven't seen yet thus far. Yep. So there's that as well. I mean, we've seen things in Guts' visions and nightmares and such, but I don't think those are completely connected.
Right.
I mean, they probably are connected some way, but not as
literally. But it could just
be
nightmares.
It could just be nightmares, exactly. But do you in particular, going back and rewatching this show, see like connective tissue to the grander story going on here in these episodic moments?
And before I get into that, one of the things that I really like I loved about this episode. So you know how we usually hate time skips as like a crutch because it's like, okay,
sure,
there should be character development that happens there, but we don't get to see it.
Right.
They have this time skip and then they immediately say, Guts, it's like you haven't changed in the last 3 years. It's such a little thing, but I love that because they're like taking that and working it into the story and like working it into Guts' character so they can have it.
It is pretty funny.
But still have it work.
It is something where they're basically like, all right, Guts is badass. We all know that.
Right.
We're going to make him look the part now, so we're going to do a time skip.
Exactly, yeah.
And we're going to infer a lot of Band of the Hawk kind of, just interaction. So he cares for these people now.
Yeah.
That's enough, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
But they kind of got a little meta there, and they're like, yeah, Guts, you really seem to be exactly the same, except you just have a little bit more weight on you now. Like, what's the deal, bro? And Casca calling him out on it, I think, is perfect, because Casca seems to be monitoring him in an almost jealous kind of way. Now, here's the thing. First of all,
yeah.
There was a theory I made episode 2 or 3, and I joked about it, but I want to say that it's not necessarily a love triangle. I said that potentially there could be a thing where a love triangle would tear apart Guts and Griffith, but you know what I think it is, actually, is it's not that it's going to be a love triangle where there's anything like specifically mutual going on. It's going to be a bunch of missed expectations and no reciprocity. Basically, there's going to be a lot of people that will want certain things out of others. So maybe Berserk. Wow, I did that again. I keep doing that. Guts wants a family. Guts killed Gambino. He wants / needs a family. He can't bring himself to admit it. But Griffith has offered that almost just
like too easily,
unabashedly, just completely and totally. Casca has some reservations, which is there, so those will need to be overcome before he will receive that kind of feeling from Casca. Casca, I think, oh man, I don't want to say this because she's so far the only like female character in this show, but I think she feels like she owes Griffith her life, like her everything. And it's love, but it's not the romantic love, because Casca abandoned the whole womanly ways.
Yeah,
that's what they mentioned.
She's a mercenary.
She's a mercenary now, but she's devoted to Griffith. Like she
is definitely that.
She almost like worships him. Like it's almost a bit much. And I think that Guts' presence getting closer to Griffith than she is over this short period of time,
and used for all the special missions,
makes her feel abandoned. And I think that might be tied to her backstory in some way. Griffith, however, I think that Griffith wants he wants to be king, like he wants his ideals and stuff, but he has this other bit that I almost resonate with. He seems like he mentioned little things about how that duel was fun, and that's how duels are supposed to be. And he's had other moments where he seems to be like, I don't know how to say it, but he wants an equal. Like he wants like true companionship. Like he wants, and I think he has somehow or another written out Casca from that potential. And Guts, I think, has already been burned by the companionship side of things, so he won't be able to be that person for Griffith. And I feel like this is all just going to be some sad, just really sad, like doomed to fail character relationship mess, where it has nothing to do with like a love triangle stereotypical thing. It's just that people want what they can't have. And it sucks. But I think the problem is that Griffith is going to get some of the things that he wants, but he's not going to get everything he wants. It's going to come with things that will change him, and but I really love these main three characters.
They're awesome, aren't they?
Yeah. Like when you were watching this show in the beginning, did you have a favorite? Like, did you have a specific character that you were like, oh, I love Griffith, or oh my god, yes, Casca is amazing.
I don't know, because the first episode does so much to make you wonder, basically, of like, okay, what's going on here?
Totally.
Because if it was just these three characters, right? If it was just like
kind of is.
Well, okay, well, yeah. But if it was just these three characters without the first episode, right?
Oh, sure.
Like if you were just thrown into this, like I certainly wouldn't have cared about, say, Guts as much.
Totally.
Right? Because I would have been like, okay, yeah, that's a pretty crazy backstory. I'm excited to see, how he grows and all this stuff.
Right.
But right now, not super interesting. Super cool in a fight, just not super interesting. I really liked Casca because of how they made it like very apparent that like she's the only girl, right? In a mercenary camp in medieval times. That doesn't happen.
It just doesn't happen.
And the idea that the way that she chews out Guts and stuff, it's like, and it's, steps on Corcus's foot, makes him fall over, and and stuff like that. The idea that stuff like that she probably has had to do a lot.
Yeah.
Because, of just the situation she's in.
Because hard life, yeah.
Right. And then, of course, Griffith, I really like, because he seems like, if Guts at first impression would be the edgelord type character,
right?
Griffith at first impression would be more of like the lawful good vanilla bread type character.
Sure, but then, Suzaku basically.
Yeah, exactly. But then there's like, okay, you get creeped out every time you see him like grab the behelit thing, and like the behelit is super creepy. But every time, like when I was first watching this and I would see him grab the behelit, I always, like, yes, there's the thing where you see, like, the eye thing, and it's, like, super creepy. But from far away, I always would see it, and it would look like a heart.
Oh, you're right.
And the idea that he, like, when he would go into battle, he grabbed, you know, like he took hold of his heart basically, you know, as he's pursuing his dream.
So he is the impassioned, full of heart character.
Yeah,
and the show doesn't really expect you to see, because you don't expect to see that in this show, because it goes from really dark in the beginning to sort of a positive shift with like, this pseudo family that all like kind of barely get along because Griffith's there.
And it's this thing where it's not like Griffith is like some crazy like optimist that's just full of cheer and you know, and
he's
power
not.
and friendship and all that.
No.
But the idea that he has a dream that he believes in very deeply, and that holds everyone else together in a situation where most of these people would be, you know, probably killing each other for, you know,
for sure,
looking at someone sideways.
Yeah.
So
totally.
Yeah.
That's another thing that I think that Griffith needs to get a lot of credit for, is they understand what silent charisma is in this show. One of the things that a lot of other shows will do when they have that battle commander is they will have them be this brash, loud,
rowdy, you know,
yeah, exactly. Bro Skandar from Fate Zero is a great example of that. He'll like literally like ululate like as he's charging, like and it's like Griffith will never do that. Griffith is completely silent except when he needs to give very specific orders. Like he doesn't go charge death like Theoden or anything.
No,
like
he doesn't
that.
do any of that.
And I think in a way that
he can lead someone with a smile.
Well, yes. But one of the things that kind of does is it makes him somewhat similar to Guts, in the same way that Guts is quiet. And Guts leads with his actions. Griffith leads with his words, but they're both these quiet kind of like,
and they make it work because
I don't know how to describe
they're like
it.
They're actively quiet. A lot of the times in stories there will be characters that are quiet and it doesn't end up working because they end up just feeling like blank spaces that weren't really filled in, right?
They're just not characters, basically.
They just feel like the writer basically didn't have time to give them, you know...
It's like, I'm going to put this trope here. We have the quiet character. Excellent. Moving on. Next
but the way that they'll have, you know, characters like Guts or Griffith, you know, especially Griffith, do these things where even in their silence, it's not empty silence. And I love that.
Yeah. It's one of the things that, in particular, I think makes, for me, I just noticed, like, one of the things that I kind of identify with Griffith a lot in is that he seeks out one-on-one conversations in order to bolster people up, build connections, solve problems, do his leader thing, essentially. Whereas he doesn't seem to, like, I don't think he's ever really gotten up on a box in front of the entire Band of the Hawk and, like, talked up anything at all. Like, right. But the thing is that he could totally do that and they would receive it well. But he does the even more effective and probably a little bit more difficult thing in terms of time management. He seems to be the type of person who goes around to everyone individually and gets to know their name.
Like he did with Guts as soon as he showed up.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's the kind of thing, guys, that separates like good leaders from like great leaders. And this is the kind of thing that I like. It's the kind of leader I would want to be. Like if I ever ended up becoming the leader of a large group of people, like, you know, more than 5 people, you know, that sounds terrifying to me. But
that's how you'd want.
That's how I'd want to do it in particular, because you don't need to elevate yourself in order to make people respect you.
Yeah.
And I think that Griffith understands that, and that will be a big deal in him becoming, you know, king at some point. But one of the things that I think is almost doomed to fail in that is that Griffith is an idealist in some ways, and he won't be able to remain the same person once he becomes king. So, yeah. Great episode. more of a character episode than anything, even though they had some pretty cool battle stuff here and there.
Yep.
The battle stuff, I think, gets a little bit overshadowed by the development of Casca, Griffith, and Guts in particular. Especially since this is just post-time skip episode.
Right, yes.
Which means that the next episode is actually probably going to be even crazier in terms of battle, so to speak, because they're actually taking a castle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was saying this, like, Sun Tzu said specifically, this is the thing you don't do. You don't attack walled cities. That's just dumb.
Just avoid them.
Just don't do that. Yeah. And I think that the Band of the Hawk kind of has to succeed here, but because we know that Guts is a loose cannon, so to speak, he's a blunt instrument, and we have already some terse kind of internal struggles here and there. We have nobles who might be doing their political machinations and stuff there.
Yeah.
Things could get a little dicey.
They could indeed.
Yeah. So this is going to be really fun, guys. Great episode. If you want to see the next episode reaction and discussion right now, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access. Also comes with Discord access where you can chat with us about whatever. There's full-length reactions there. And yeah, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.